well. And good evening, LinkedIn, and good evening, YouTube. So thank you for joining me for this unconventional live talk on women's and men's emotions. Okay, TikTok, thank you for joining me. It's a very different conversation for you. And thank you, LinkedIn, for um, viewing this. Okay, I've not don't really go live that much these days on LinkedIn, but I'm here to talk about women's and men's emotions and raising the question on, do men partners respect women's work? Now, this is based on one of my core books, not my book, but I'm using for research on women's and men's emotions. Women who think too much, how to break free of overthinking and reclaim a life, by Susan Noel. Um, can't pronounce the surname, but it's a great book and it's a really good, interesting way to start the conversation. Excuse my eyes because I've been doing loads of cleaning today and my eyes are stinging. But anyway, so this is an important topic because, generally speaking, when you look at the history of women suffragettes, for instance, there's always been a divide between men and women at work. We know this. This is an important conversation. So if you're listening to this wherever you are and you're a lady or even a man and you feel like, okay, I want to get more rights for women, I don't think we get treated fairly. This is kind of a deep psychology discussion about men's and women's emotions. Now, the first point I want to make out, and this is where this book really does hit the nail on the head, and I totally agree with this because I've said this before. Women experience emotions more intensely than men. What does that mean? Do they get upset more easily for, say, in their relationship? Potentially, but they will overthink more than men generally. And the book states that this is not just through, some argue that it's the biology of a woman's body. They go through their periods, they go through pregnancy, for instance, but also um, when you look at the history of equality, women feel kind of suppressed and depressed because they've not got the same pay rights. And if I was to call, in your relationship with my partner, I haven't got a relationship, I'm just saying a situation. I was saying to a lady, if I said to a lady, you're stupid, you're not clever enough, and I'm a man, so does that bear quite? It's going to be You're going to be offended, aren't you? So the conversation is men partners on average. I don't think it's changing the narrative. I haven't looked at any data at this, but I would say that men partners on average do respect women's work. This is very hypothetical because I'm not looking at any data, but the underlying problem is that because women experience their emotions more uh, strenuously, impactly, intensely is the right word, really, that there is a fundamental problem with how we not just view women in society, but we're not giving them enough rights, protection, equality, because we always feel, because history tells us we put women down, and we shouldn't put women down, should we? We should be nice to our women, respect them, love them, care for them, and not just the ones even that they're our partners. We should really, you know, embrace, because women are getting oppressed. When COVID-19 happened, there was an increase of domestic violence. There was so much going on in this world in terms of, you know, women getting, violence, beat up, and, even, sadly, their lives being taken, and it happens all around the world. And I've been through domestic violence. Been on both sides of it as a young child, seeing it, and I wasn't a good husband. I turned my life around. I've had cancer, and I had a temper, not anymore. And that's a deeper conversation, okay, which is important to have, because at the end of the day, women equality matters. And I'm not just, this is good research, I think, because, and this goes back to my original conversation about women leaders could be potentially not, they can be much more better than men. I say better, but because they experience their emotions more intensely. If we follow women in work, if we give them more opportunities, we can learn and create a system of psychology, good research that allows women to kind of prosper in the workplace because all around the world and even in the here UK, United States, women are they don't get the same pay. So there's a divide there already. But when I raised this question tonight, because I was literally just briefly reading over the book tonight because I done a TikTok and it got some good views. And that's an indication that I thought, right, let me open this up a little bit more. So that's why I did this live TikTok for you guys, because I think that this is an important conversation. Um, do men partners respect women's work in general? Okay, it's the idea of it because I say I don't have data in front of me. So I've not really come onto this live talk. I'm using the basis of this book that I've told you about. Relationships are hard. Okay, we know this. And the saying goes, and I don't like saying it, but I'll say it, women are complicated as well as men. Okay. Some argue because of their biology, women are more complicated than men. I would agree to some level. But their emotions are intense because of their body makeup. That's one factor. But also because for many years, I don't really have that same level of equality as men. And men are kind of traditionally are seen as a higher hierarchy in some cultures, in some marriages, in some relationships. So if you're a woman watching this, I'm here for you, trying to campaign for better rights for you. But also, I'm more interested in looking at the psychology of women emotions, okay, which is one of my core research areas. I have written a book, it's not published yet. I've been looking for a publisher for some time, and I feel that there is a lot around women leadership that we can enhance and take that as a training opportunity, literally framework it, and then put that into the culture of corporate America, for instance. So this is a very quick live, not a long conversation. I just wanted to go live and experiment with this conversation because at the end of the day, if we don't put investment in understanding women emotions more, how are we going to get to equality? And also, I think it will save lives because women are getting oppressed with the domestic violence, and the education we need comes through schools. It can go back into businesses. Good leadership requires good training and the recognition that a man and a lady are different in their makeup. And because of that, if we search the factors around that, not just in their makeup, but then the history, data, historical patterns, we might be able to develop courses here, even on TikTok. You know, is there good opportunities? Is there more opportunities here for women to start a business? And LinkedIn, the both platforms have got TikTok on my left, LinkedIn in front of me. They've both got a billion users and different age groups, different demographics, but it's a lot of data that we need to unlock and understand and evaluate, I think, the idea of women emotions and trying to find out more about the respects and not just for a campaign, but the psychology of okay, because women experience their emotions more intensely, what can we do around that to safeguard women and men as well? And I raised this small question tonight: do men partners respect women's work? I'd say it's getting better, but it needs to improve. That's one argument, very small. So anyway, folks, I shall say on that note for LinkedIn, I'm going to switch off and just go on TikTok. Um, but I've wanted to come on live tonight to just get my thinking. So it's more really a moment of being selfish tonight. It wasn't really to create the world's best live talk. I didn't do a lot of planning, but sometimes you just got to go with your thinking, your brain, and understand that. So anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in TikTok. I'll be with you in a moment. And thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Want to learn more about my research? Yeah, and let's connect. Thank you.